ladies and gentlemen, to another scene set in the Chronicles of Darkness, Vampire Requiem. A Requiem for London. Tonight, the scene centers on Dr. Violet Delta, who is returning to her haven, her beloved home, after a night of hunting and work. It has been an interesting few nights for you, Violet, at least from a kindred perspective. Reintegrating yourself into kindred society has been a little bit bumpy, to say the least. And has literally involved the dropping of ashes upon the ground. Quite a statement if it were to be made public. Fortunately, it seems the new speaker of the Carthians, Rodney Foster, has decided to keep your involvement mute. Out of a sense of respect. Assuming that that is perhaps what you would want. And to his credit, he has also followed through on his word. You've had no incidents regarding your herd for the past week or so, since Swerve's death. When you've gotten in touch with them, they have noted bumping into some rough-looking folks, but other than that, they seem to be enjoying the night once more. So, you are driving home? It's quite scenic, actually. You're on sort of the outer edge of London, so it's more suburban than anything else. Although Heathrow does make traffic absolutely heaving at times. Fortunately, your schedule makes it so that you tend to get the better hours, the quiet hours. There's always cars on the road heading towards Heathrow, but there's less at these very, very late hours of the morning. So you find your way into your small home in Cranford after about 15 to 20 minutes of driving. What do you do when you're there?
She locks up the car and heads inside with a quick glance around to make sure that nothing's waiting in the bushes to jump on her, none of the neighborhood stray cats. Just heads inside quite quietly, tries to keep noise down so she doesn't wake her daughter.
There is a cat just sort of sitting in one of the hedgerows, just looking at you with its bright yellow eyes, but seems to be content to mind its own business. Seems more wary of you than anything else. Doesn't look like it wants you to get close. Seems quite happy to stay safe in this little hedgerow where you can't reach it.
She just nods at the cat before heading inside.
Mm-hmm. So once you're inside, you just head through the porch. Maybe take off your shoes. Maybe have a sit down. Do you turn on the TV or just do you go upstairs?
She just goes upstairs to her office.
Okay. You head up to your office. And on your desk, there appears to be an unopened file on it. It's not one you recognize, but then, well, you may just be misremembering. You have quite a lot of files in here. You may have left one on your desk.
She probably just removes her lab coat, puts down her bag before actually attending to any of the files on her desk.
Mm-hmm. When you go to attend to your files and you take it out, it appears to be a report that you definitely do not recognize. It appears to be a report on you. Details about your life. Your youth, your schools, your education, your career, your partner, family, your illness, your child. Your embrace.
So clearly not government files then.
No. It is structured as one, but it is not. At least you wouldn't think. Has pictures of you, but they're largely blurry and indistinct. Has your age listed as 15 years, embraced circa 1995, clan, suspected maquette, sire unknown. It lists loyalties to the Carthian movement, or rather, it lists your sect affiliation. Then it has sort of a psych report on you. It's quite thorough. The report seems to suggest that you don't really have any loyalties to the sect you're affiliated with, neither your clan. That you've attempted to remain hidden for a long time. Up until now, the report seems to suggest that you are a non-threat but a potential contact within the movement. This seems... you can roll me intelligence expression if you like. The way this report is written, it is very professional. This is written by someone who, if they don't have a if they don't have a background in espionage, they certainly learned. In addition, this is written from the perspective of the way this is written seems to infer that this is not written by somebody from the Carthian movement.
She just places the report down on her desk and just sort of a nervous habit just goes to check on Bonnet.
You open the door to Bonnet's room, very quietly, of course, being a kindred of the most subtle and discreet of clans. The Unseen, as they're so often called. You're able to open it very quietly without disturbing your daughter's rest. But she's not the only person in the room. You see...
Oh, for fuck's sake.
A very familiar looking person in the room with her. Just sitting on a chair. For your daughter's desk. Just gently stroking her hair. When she hears the door open, she turns her attention to you.
Violet just bares her fangs. Just get your hands off of her.
Can you roll me your Auspex plus your blood potency? Okay. You feel, as you say that, you feel a sense of isolation fall over you, as if someone in the room has obfuscated you. But you can't seem to break that obfuscation of yours, Vex. Your words, when you go to speak, quickly become muffled and then just fall into complete silence, as if you've been muted. As Grace will stand up from her chair, put it back behind your daughter's desk, and simply walk on up to you. She begins gesturing to you in sign. And she says, "Be careful now, we wouldn't want to wake her."
Violet just looks very irritated for a moment. She notices the sign language, but she just walks across the room just to double check that her daughter is still breathing before turning to face her sire and just goes, "What do you want?"
"I came to check up on you."
"Well, you've done, sir. Now leave."
"It is not that simple. If I wished to just watch you, I wouldn't be standing in front of you."
"What do you want?"
"You've been very lax with the code. I've come to introduce you to the true nature of your purpose. However, you appear to have made things very complicated for yourself. That file was given to me by one of the Unconquered's best agents. Unconquered is out of character. The term Unconquered is is one of the alternate names for the Invictus, the current ruling sect of the domain.
"What does the Invictus want with me?"
They wanted to keep the Kaffians honest, and you are a very independent spirit. But I understand you wish to be hidden. You are very rough around the edges, as someone who was also very good at remaining hidden. And so I have silenced any hearsay regarding your existence.
Fire just raises an eyebrow, I suppose you want payment of sorts then for it?
No. No, I do not. You are wise to assume that from me, though.
I wasn't embraced yesterday.
But you do like to act as if the kindred don't exist at all.
Fire just kind of gives her a long look at that point, and it's just like, before we discuss this anymore, I ask that we step out of my daughter's room. As soon as her sire has followed her out the room, Fire just shuts the door before placing a hand on her temple and just says, obviously, I would not want to acknowledge kindred. I'm a scientist, for Pete's sake. Of course, just one day I'm being diagnosed with cancer that I'm not going to survive, and the next day I wake up without a fucking heartbeat. What do you think I'm going to do?
So you weren't embraced yesterday, but you do act like it. I suppose that is my fault. I had hoped time would help you transition. It appears it has done the opposite.
So I just growled. Again, woke up the day after being diagnosed with 3 months left to live, told, you're immortal now, have a nice fucking life. She just can't help the snarl that emanates from those words.
Despite all the commotion, your daughter has not stirred. Although you put that down to whatever spell, obfuscation, whatever your sire has done to you. Well, you're half right. I don't remember wishing you a nice life, or telling you anything.
I don't care about kindred. I don't care about this underground world that they live in. I just want to be left alone.
Then allow me to introduce you to one of the first rules of the embrace. Kindred do not embrace those that don't care. If Chalder was so irrelevant or disposable or uncared for, if he was so ambivalent in our regard to the embrace, well, our race would not exist.
I don't even know why you chose me.
I had hoped that would come given... I'd hoped that reasoning would become clear given time. I left you enough hints inside of your head after I did the deed. You do recall the number ever since... You do recall the number ever since Verve died in 99. It is something that keeps pinging back into your head. Prior to that, it's always been 100. It's always been a number you've always sort of focused on for reasons that haven't always been clear to you. And you do recall various details of unlife being revealed to you through strange visions, both while you were awake and while you were in the day sleep. It's largely how Violet knows what she knows about her own bloodline. After all, she's been invisible for 15 years. She's never met any one of them. But she's come to know of them and what they represent. I had hoped that after your first act as one of the Yankal, I could have introduced you to our blood proper. But it seems I have. Taken the wrong approach. And again, that is my fault. I did not wish for you to live every night agonizing over the welfare of your daughter. Or for you to struggle balancing a flimsy attempt at a career in one of London's most run-down hospitals. I didn't expect you to remain still for so long.
What did you expect?
I expected you to adapt to your condition. It is normal for us, but you are particularly... You cling to who you once were with remarkable ferocity.
For a second, Violet just looks like she wants to slap her.
I suppose it is ironic. I embraced you for those very reasons. And yet it has made your life so much more difficult.
My life is fine the way it is without your influence.
A shame. Because you cannot live without my influence. There have been many times when the old Prince Graves sent his sheriff to Carthian domains. His archons. His little jackboots. Give the Carthians something to be scared of. Maybe drop a few bodies. Cull a few herds. Maybe claim somebody's daughter. Or simply claim their life. I've had my eye on you for a very long time. I wouldn't show up to your haven if I didn't know what you were doing or where to find you.
What the fuck do you want from me?
As I said, I had hoped to have introduced you to our blood already. It appears now I'll have to do so before you're ready. Introduce you to our purpose. I have granted you insight into the code. You know what our code is, yes?
Obviously.
Good. Then you know how close you are to breaking it every single night with your daughter. You are lucky I am your sire. The more traditionalist among us would not have been so. Open-minded in regards to your daughter. Fortunately for you, I've taken a liking to her. Similarly to how I took a liking to you. I seek those that value life. They're the only ones I believe can be trusted to end it.
Who are you?
I keep my name out of the papers. It's similar to you. But I believe I can trust you. I'll certainly know if I can't. Let us go downstairs. You should just begin to head downstairs.
I will follow.
You and she move completely silently. It's interesting, even when you're generally obfuscated, you generally leave ambient noise. Like, you might be obfuscated, but the stairwell might creak slightly. If you're holding something, it may make a sound. Your phone will go off. Generally, obfuscate doesn't protect you from ambient ambient sound. Yet, for whatever reason hers does. She'll take a seat, and when you've done the same, she will ask, Violet, why did you decide to work at a hospital?
So I could research autoimmune diseases.
Pardon?
She said, so I could research autoimmune diseases.
And why did you wish to research disease?
There's just a glance upstairs. She doesn't answer.
Out of character, why does Violet research disease?
She's a geneticist and wants to figure out how to cure a number of diseases like lupus, multiple sclerosis.
What drives her to do that? This is another out of character question.
Likely because her child has one.
And may I ask what drives her to protect her child?
Come again? Sorry.
What drives her to protect her child?
Her love for her daughter.
Your sire, Grace, simply says, you work at a hospital because you wish to cure your daughter of whatever disease afflicts her. Because you value her, she is the axis upon which all of your values rest. And you are so distant from both mortal and kindred society because you're terrified of what may happen to her. And because of what you might do to others. I never told you about the beast, but I'm sure you figured it out. I used to work and Hillingdon Hospital, much like yourself. I go to lots of places, like the hospital. Hospitals, graveyards, churches. They all hold something in common for me. It's where I find those who value life most highly, or most slowly. There's rarely any middle ground, I find. Sometimes I would walk for wards looking for those who had been put there by others. I would ask them, who did this to them? And then I would find them. And if they deserved this, I would kill them. Sometimes I would go to the morgue and I would find drained bodies. And I'd ask the corpses who ended them, who made them this way. And then I would find their killers. The beasts masquerading as men. And I would scatter their ashes over the graves of their victims. Because that is my purpose. That is the calling of my blood. We were embraced to defend both mortals and kindred from themselves. Do you understand?
Violet gives a short nod.
That file belonged to an agent of my new sect. He wanted to kidnap your daughter and blackmail you and tout him as a spy for the establishment.
At At that, a faint hiss escapes by.
I killed him. She just sort of... There's a pause in her speech that allows for a response.
Violet just says, "Thank you."
Your daughter... She is an innocent. She is not to be preyed upon by our kind. We all drink, but we do not kill.
Violet just nods.
Those that do. One by one, they are brought to justice either way. Sometimes the sanctified make my job easy for me. Not everybody has to die. Then I'd be no different from the ones I hunt. That is what serves. The core of the Ankau Code. Its first tenet. We only kill those who are a threat to the balance, and those who kill with no remorse.
I'm aware.
I didn't have children like you. I was quite young upon my embrace. But I did have a sister. She's dead now. But when I was embraced, I never talked to her again. She believes my... She believed my former husband killed me. She was half right. Somebody killed me. Not my husband. She did some very regrettable things because of that belief. She was quite the noble lady during her time. You wouldn't recognize her family today. She cost him almost everything, you know, going after my husband. Not that he didn't deserve it, in truth. But I could not intervene. I am not human, and though I may pretend to be human, we cannot introduce mortals into our own lives. Like your daughter. You must know she's getting suspicious. You don't look a day over 25. She waits for you again. Oh, Violet. Oh, test, my internet hasn't gone down. Should still be okay. Oh, Violet, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, cool. Yeah, just want to make sure you heard, what your sire said. Unless I was speaking very quietly and didn't pick anything up, it should be unfortunate.
You might need to repeat yourself, yeah, sorry.
Okay, that's my bad. Okay. So, what part did you get to where I cut out?
I am not human, I think.
Okay. I am not human. And while I may pretend to be, I cannot introduce a mortal into a kindred world. Much like you and your daughter. You must know she is becoming suspicious. You don't look a day over 25.
I have a plan when she's older.
I can teach you this. It comes naturally to our blood. But you must never break the masquerade. You must never interact with her as a kindred.
She will not know. Not intend for her to find out. You there?
apologies for being away.
You're good. My apologies.
That's fine. I'm the one who left. But, yeah. So, that's what your sire tells you again. That, she reinforces the masquerade to you.
Fire just shakes her head. She won't know. I have a plan.
Good. I trust in your plan.
She's just an innocent child. I wish she had never been wrapped up in this.
It is why we distance ourselves from those we love. Why did you help kill Verve?
Because I needed my head not to be messed with. Unless that was you as well.
No. Well, yes and no.
I just rolls her eyes, like, why am I not surprised?
You are a Carthian because I once a Carthian. I left with Stanford when it became clear that Verve and her thugs threatened everything that he and I stood for. They paid no adherence to my beliefs. They had no regard for life, no regard for their own kind. What did you feel
She
when
was rather insane.
She was. She was a very broken person. Did you want to kill her?
It had to be done.
Were you afraid to do so?
No.
Good. You cannot be afraid to kill. Should you ever become afraid to do so, you must carve it from your chest. Our blood has no place for fear of death. Allow me to give you a number, 99. You know what this number means, don't you?
Yes.
Then you know that many more deaths await you.
I just gives a short nod.
Do you understand what that means?
If I didn't, I would ask.
Why are you unafraid to kill?
It's part of the balance.
It is. I had hoped that by the time you had made your first kill, you would have transitioned, but I had misunderstood you.
Nearly everyone does, you are no different.
There is something deeply comforting about not understanding you.
Was that in or out of character? Sorry.
She says that in character.
Fire just raises an eyebrow.
Now it is your turn to try and understand me.
Why would I want to?
You can't release yourself from chains you don't know how to untie or break.
My life is fine the way it is.
Times change. So long as you understand that it will not last.
Certainly.
And I take no issue with it. So, Violet, I have one more question for you.
Fire just raises an eyebrow again.
You know what you are, the purpose of your blood. You are a guardian. A reaper to those that fear us. You know your purpose is to kill. So why didn't you?
Killed that concentrate in the stadium, if that's what you mean.
You have had many years. I've stayed close to you. You've met many reprehensible figures in your time. Dare I say you attract them to you? But you did not kill any of them. You did not seek out justice for the wronged. You did not seek out the irredeemable. And those you met, you spared. Why?
Because I had other more important concerns at the time.
There are no concerns more important than the code. Without the code of death, your daughter would not live. But you have answered well. For one who appears very lost, you certainly seem to know the way.
Illusions aren't always what they seem.
Oh, sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
Illusions aren't quite what they seem.
They rarely are. But it is your time now. It is time you took up your duty.
I understand.
She nods. She stands and holds her hands out to you as if for you to take them.
Fire just kind of regards the hands, looks up at her like, have you not learned this lesson already?
She still has them held out.
She's not gonna take him.
And neither is she going to relent, seemingly. Violet.
Yes.
Take my hands.
I don't want to be touched, actually.
We must all do things we find unpleasant from time to time.
Fire just crosses her arms.
There is a flick of her wrists as she simply grabs one of your hands with hers. Rather violently pulls you up.
Kidding me. Is this how you go about greeting everyone? Breaking into the houses and dead at night?
She gives you a very coy smile, which suggests to you that's exactly what she does.
For fuck's sake!
You have done very well. Do not ruin it with petty defiance. That changes nothing.
Was there anything else you wanted to?
Soon there will come a time where you must kill. I will be watching over you. I will be guiding you to them.
Very well.
I would not do so if you had already accomplished such acts sooner. But you failed in this.
I just folds her eyes.
"15 years you spent fawning over your daughter. Blind as to what threatened her. And I will not continue cuddling you or your child." The Invictus I dealt with will not be the last. Nor may they be Invictus. You will need the power to protect her on your own.
I know.
There is a way I can grant you this power.
So.
For an oath.
Earth.
Should you bind yourself to the ideals of the code, and swear to punish the reprehensible, to kill those who are a threat to the balance and those without remorse, to not reveal yourself to those who are alive, to reserve your embrace and your soul for those who are unafraid to kill, and to observe your child as I now observe you, for the first 100 deaths dealt by their hand. I can grant you the power to protect your daughter.
I takes a long, deep sigh before saying, how would I go about making this oath?
There are those that preside over such oaths. I know one. I can call upon them at this very moment. through their judgments, the oath will be sealed. You need only agree to swear it.
I will agree to do so.
Okay. There is a moment where your sire closes her eyes. Let us go to Chester Park. They will meet us there.
Alright.
She will leave your apartment and will simply escort you to Chester Park over the next 5 minutes. And she will simply stop and stand by one of the many leafless trees now littering the park. The park itself is completely unremarkable. All there is really a football pitch and a bunch of, well, withered knob trees along the pathways.
Violet will join her sire.
I've come to appreciate the outdoors as I've aged. It is one of the few places where I do not have to hide myself. There's no one to hide myself from. You seem like you'd rather be indoors.
Of course, I'd rather always be in my laboratory. That sentence isn't actually said with any maliciousness. It's more like Violet's thinking about fond moments of her research.
I'm surprised you remain a Carthian.
Why is that?
You have no love or loyalty to them. And our kind have little love for them in general.
Where do you think I'd belong instead?
You resemble one of the unconquered more than the unconquered themselves.
She just nods.
Spare doors are always open.
I will consider it.
Eventually, a car pulls up, a simple, rather innocuous four-door coupe, and out pops a woman with a predatory aura. I should just get you her image real quick. There you go. She's wearing standard office wear. Fancy looking earrings though. Quite long.
Violet will nod towards this person.
Her hair is tied back into a short ponytail. She stands up quite straight. She looks like quite a formal woman. I have heard there is to be an oath declared.
Yes.
I see. You are
Dr. Violet Delta.
child of the lady, I have heard.
Fry just kind of raises an eyebrow at Hisaya. Just kind of waits for her to respond.
She will walk up to you, just a couple of steps. Her placid cheek rubs uncomfortably against yours as she whispers something into your ear.
Violet nods.
Then, what is the manner of this oath? She narrows her eyes, just sees Yulsar whispering something conspiratorially to you that she doesn't seem to approve of.
I wish to swear to follow the Anchor Code.
The Ankau Code, I am familiar with such traditions. Legally vague, difficult to define. And you wish to swear it in its entirety?
Yes.
As vassal to the lady?
Violet nods.
She is very devoted, Lady Grace. Her hands will be very red by the end of this month alone. Very well. The oath itself will know if you have fulfilled it.
She nods.
We shall treat those as a threat to the balance and those without remorse as effectively the same for the purposes of this oath.
Yes.
Your sire turns to this person and simply says, "Do not sanitize this." Very well, Lady Grace. Then, Violet Delta, child of the lady, please declare your oath to your liege.
Out of character. Where would I find that?
It's... one second, let me just type it out for you. She also gestures for you to take the knee. As if to kneel before your sire.
Violet will do so.
There you go. Oh,
Guardian.
oh, let me edit this real quickly so it makes sense from a first person perspective. There you go.
Violet takes a deep breath before saying, I shall only kill those who are a threat to the balance and those who continue to kill with no remorse. I will not reveal my true nature to those who are alive. I shall preserve the embrace for those who are unafraid to kill. I will follow my child and observe the first 100 deaths dealt by them.
As you say this, the notary and pierces her skin with one of her fingers. And writes this declaration onto her arm in her own vitae that is quickly subsumed into her flesh. When it sinks into her skin, I'm going to give you a choice out of character. I'm going to ask you what. I'm going to give you a set of choices and you can choose which one you want. There you go.
I think option number 3.
Okay. You feel a strange congealing of your blood. As you find yourself capable of warping the very environment around you into the image of your wishes. Brief glimpses of possibilities scatter across your vision. Your sire and the notary notice as the round-the-world flickers between the thoughts that cross your mind. A vast illusion that could maybe cover this entire park. But you lack the vitae. For now. The oath is complete. I need not remind you to uphold it.
I will do my best to do so.
You will do so. You will not do your best.
Why not?
My debt to you, Lady Grace, is fulfilled. I wish you both a good evening. As she takes out a little black book with a pen attached to it and just crosses something out. Most likely whatever boon she owed your sire. And she heads off back into her vehicle. A servant waiting in the passenger seat. Mark your haven with your blood, and only the mightiest of our kind will be able to witness it again. So long as your daughter remains within, she'll be forever safe. And those that you hunt will never see you coming.
Violet will nod. She just gets up and stretches.
I will gaze upon you closely, Violet. Be well.
Take care, Grace.
There is no one watching us here.
Very well, Muriel.
Can I ask an out of character question?
Sure.
What is Violet's current opinion of her sire? How does she feel towards her?
Neutral.
Fair enough. How did she feel about her before, out of curiosity?
Again, didn't care. Just kind of... Yeah, she did what she did, but I can't go back and change it, so I've got to deal with the consequences now. There's no changing what happened.
I'm sorry I kept you waiting.
Violet nods.
Should you find your new obligations insufficient to empower you, ask for me and I will find you again.
I understand.
Be safe, my child.
Farewell.
And your sire vanishes into mist, as if she was never there at all, leaving you alone, but empowered, stronger, in a sense. Is there anything Violet would like to do?
She will just walk back home.
Daylight is soon. And when you find yourself home, with your daughter still fast asleep, you find it easy to fall into the day sleep peacefully this night, or this morning. And that is where we shall end our scene. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching, and we'll see you all